Yo, 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 here we out hanging out at Spencer Tilt, chilling out with Pete here, otherwise known as Pistol Pete on the blues circuit, I think, or something like that. But hey, a little bit about you, Pete. You grew up in Chicago, presumably. A little bit about that, man.
I was born in Los Angeles, raised in Chicago, Illinois, by Wesley Williams and Floyd Williams, and we owned a restaurant on the west side of Chicago called Pete's Barbecue.
Cool.
Wesley's family, well, what happened was, long story short, was that my original biological family left California, went to Arkansas, came back from Arkansas, and stopped in Chicago, and I got sick at 2 months. So my father's sister took me in and raised me, so Chicago is my home. And if they didn't, I'd probably been dead, first of all. But her husband, Wesley Williams, which we call Moody, he was into music. He played a lot of guitar, but not professionally, and his family was all musicians. And that's how I got into playing guitar. So playing in church, playing in bars, playing at home was sort of natural in a way, you know, but more playing at home and at church was the best. But when I got older, I started playing bars and got into it.
When did you play at church?
When I played in church, I started playing in church when I was 5.
Like, give me your church recital song. Like,
Oh, shit.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound.
I'm a rocker though. I can play blues all night long. But, you know, I love music totally, you know. I've been doing this a long time.
So Pete, is music what you do for your living?
Yes, it is. It's what I do for a living. I teach music. I play out live. I used to run a few studios. I have 11 CDs out. Sold 1,300 copies in Japan just recently.
Nice.
Things are doing good on the P-Vine Records. So I'm just doing what I love to do, you know.
Speaking of labels, would love your brief take. You know, every artist, you know, huge or little, is dealing with challenges of the industry and the digitalization of music. You know, how's that affecting the blues world?
Well, you know, it affects the blues. It depends on the musician, how far the musician wants to go, because you got your purists and then you got your people who just want to evolve, you know, just like listening to classical music. You got the Renaissance period and then you got the Romantic period.
Yeah.
So it's the same way with blues. You got your traditional type of guys who like, this is just a bunch of noise. They ain't staying to the format. But then you got your Buddy Guy and your Stevie Ray Vaughan, your Jimi Hendrix, that sort of changed it and made it electrified. But remember, Muddy Waters was the first one to discover electricity, not Benjamin Franklin on the guitar. So these are the things you got to look at. And I just say they just paved the way for the 21st century blues artists, if you want to say,
Yep. Yep.
To go beyond. I mean, if you want to stay traditional, that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to expand, because you got other people who wants to hear something fresh. Because after a while, when you hear the 145 so many times, and it's not changed in the different variations.
Show them what a 145 is.
You know,
well,
okay, here's a 145 blues. Say we just start in the key of G. That's your 1. 12-bar blues. Here come your 4, which will be your C. Back to your 1. 5. 4. Back to your 1. Your turnaround is turnaround off your 4 and 5 with a passing tone in it also. So these are things that you got to understand, where I can maybe change this 145 to which I did a raise 5 to a or sharp 9 back to a 1. So the main thing is understanding your theory. But if that's what you choose to play, you know, that's the beauty about music. You have the choice to play whatever you want to play. As long as you're making a joyful noise and playing from your heart, and other people feeling what you playing, it doesn't matter what you play, traditional, modern, or beyond. You know, as long as you're playing with some feeling and some emotion, that's what matters.
So we had a conversation out in the street earlier, and I wish you could have captured some of that conversation. You know, metal has influenced a lot of what you do within the blues genre.
Right.
When you think about kind of the, you know, the trade-offs between the two, I mean, do you try to melt the two together, or like when you think about where you're going with your sound, what's that all about?
Well, it depends on what style, the approach that I come, you know, because there's so many different approaches. It depends on, I read my audience all the time too. If I have an
So tell us the kind of audience you play to. Give me an
I can
example.
play to an audience like in their 20s, 30s, 40s. You know, say we'll start from, let's make it realistic. Let's start from a child. I can go into a school and make them kids happy, and I have done it. From 4 on to
So what do you play
18.
with 4-year-olds? Give us 10 seconds.
you know, just some little silly stuff. You know, I play SpongeBob because that's what kids relate to.
Right.
So you got to play big. You know,
right.
Or I might go and play some. If you look in that kindergarten, first grade kid, they want to hear, you know. But now these kids today that are in first grade and second grade, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear.
They want to hear
They want to hear a little rock and roll. They want to hear a little Prince. They want to hear a little hip hop.
50-year-old corporate CEOs. What do they want to hear?
Oh, well, say that again.
50-year-old corporate CEOs in corporate. They want to hear old school blues. They want to hear authentic stuff.
Don't keep in mind you had some of them like to listen to Jeff Beck.
Yep.
You know, Eric Clapton. So you can go back and play some Stevie Ray Vaughan or some Eric Clapton and make them happy on there too. Or go back and play some Hendrix. I done a bunch of corporate gigs. I done so many corporate gigs where I done made everybody happy. So I look at my room and I see what I need to play. And then, if my room is mixed, I play everything for everybody. But if I see an older crowd, I probably stick to more R&B, blues, stat record stuff, but with my own twist.
Sounds like you adapt quickly, and you know you get a sense of what's working, what's not.
So big question. Let me go a big question.
Yep.
Big question. The big question is, who is your perfect audience when you're playing in your fantasy world in front of the mirror or whatever? Who's your fantasy audience? Who would you write an album for? And if you were already a multi-billionaire and you wanted to play your music and make your statement, what would it be?
I hate to tell you this, but to everybody. Everybody deserves it.
So what would
So
you? What kind of thing would you play?
I don't consider myself. Even though this new album I'm doing is a little different from other albums because all my other albums are different genres of music, but this one album I sort of stick to a format. But I think.
So you're making the album now, or?
It's already done. I gotta go and mix
So
it.
play us just a little couple licks from what you do on that album. Like,
oh, I'm doing some stuff.
what are the signature licks on that album?
Place your bets on the table. Your life is in my hand. You might lose a thumb or a finger too. You won't see me again. Don't you know it's the last hand? Don't you know it's the last hand? That's off a new movie that a friend of mine is doing downstairs Monday night, or Monday morning. So I'll be filming this movie called The Last Hand, and I'll be playing all these different.
So
licks,
that
you know.
song came from where? Did the guy in the movie
well,
said
he just gave me the script and gave me a little DVD, and I took it from there. And I wrote the song Monday night, rearranged it Tuesday, went in the studio Wednesday, recorded all the tracks, and I'm going back tomorrow to mix it and get it ready for the guys so we can have it for this movie.
So it's Monday night, they're showing it at Blues, or what's going
No,
on?
he's just filming it. It ain't
Monday night they're filming
in the morning.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the morning.
So I can't dress up and show up and look good
it ain't
for
going, it's going to be
All right, hey man, Pete. So this segment's out. I just want to say thanks for the conversation.
You're welcome, man. Thank
And,
you. This is cool. Make sure I get a copy.
Yeah, we'll talk soon, man.
All right.
Cheers.